In this video, I'm going to show you what I would do if I were getting started today with Workflowy in 2026. I'm going to talk about how I set up my account, what features I've learned to use, and what integrations I would add just to have a much better experience. And I say this as someone who has used Workflowy pretty much every single day for the past 8 years. It's kind of wild. So I think I've got a couple of tips and tricks to show you. And so I thought I would share some of the things I've learned along the way that turned me from being a regular or occasional user to being a power user and getting just a lot out of Workflowy. And even after so many years with all those brand new note-taking apps that come out and more are coming out each day, I still find myself coming back to Workflowy as the daily driver for my notes. For me, it's still the fastest, most powerful, and flexible note-taking app, despite how simple it still looks after all these years. Let's start with how I would set up my account. Thing I would do is try to keep things as simple as possible. So many of these productivity gurus on YouTube and on the web talk about complex systems, and they've got this perfect way of organizing your life or your work. And if you just follow it and do it exactly the way they do, you would be just as productive and successful and handsome as they are. But after testing out all the productivity systems that have come out in the past couple of years and really trying to follow them to the letter, the best piece of advice I can give you when starting a new account in Workflow is just keep it as simple as possible. Don't try to recreate a system or implement a new way of doing things. If you already have a way that works for you, whether that's in another note-taking app or on paper, just try to do that, or just try to do one small part of that system. Just keep it as simple as possible. Next up, I would suggest you use the top level of your Workflow account to group the main areas. Instead of dumping all the information in there from the get-go, I would maybe take a moment or two and think about what sorts of notes you want to start with. You don't have to decide everything up front. Just pick one area of your life where you'd like to be a little bit more organized, or if you're already trying to find a place to put those notes, just go with that. Put it at the very top of your account, give it some sort of a label just so you know what it is, put all that stuff in that bullet, and then just start from there. So let me show you what I mean. If I zoom all the way out, this is the very top of my account. I've got my inbox, my activity areas, the shared items that I have. I just like to group them this way, just so it's easy to know which items I've shared with other people. And this special AI section that I'll mention towards the end of the video. So the inbox, as you can imagine, is where I dump all the information, all the notes, everything that I clip from the web on my phone ends up right here. And it's just a simple place for me to not think about where it goes. And then I can put it where it actually needs to go. Next up, I have an activity section. So let me zoom in. This is kind of what I've settled on after years and years. It's still working, so I think I'll leave it as it is. The way it works is I've got items for each one of the days of the week, and then under each one, I've got either recurring items or tasks for the week that I know that I need to do. So for example, on Friday, I've got a pay the light bill, and I've added a link, and then add complications to the watch app, and I've got some notes there. And these with the tag right here, just let me know these are recurring items so I don't actually complete them. I just do them, and then, next week I do them again until I get rid of them. So yeah, pretty simple. And below that, I have a now section. So the way this works is I kind of like to plan my weeks ahead of time. The tasks that I know ahead of time I'm going to have to do for that week, I just drop in here and then collapse them and forget about them until it is that day. And this now section serves as my to-do list or my today list. So you can see, this is where I'm actually reading the outline from. So I'm recording the video. That's the thing I'm doing today. Also, it's Wednesday, so I need to go to a Japanese class. And that's pretty much it. This is my running list of tasks. And then anything that I know ahead of time I need to do for the day, I just drop in here. This is also what holds my recurring tasks. And that's pretty much it. Below that, I have what I call the memory hole. It's just the place where I dump things that I'm no longer interested in, right? At some point, they entered into my notes. I don't think they're really relevant, but I don't want to delete them because maybe there's some stuff from an older project that I could use in the future. I don't think so, but just in case, this is where they go. Below that, I have the log, which is just the Workflowy calendar. I don't actually use it to plan my days. I use it more as a log where I just register all the complete tasks. So at any point in the future, I want to see what I did on a specific day, I can go and pull up the tasks, the notes, anything relevant from that day. So just a way to kind of help me remember what I did for a specific day or a week or an entire year. So the third thing I would recommend is that you actually take a little bit of time to customize Workflowy. It has some themes, it has some fonts, there are a couple of things you can tweak to make it feel a little bit more cozy, a little bit more yours. So it's definitely worth taking the time to actually pick a nice theme, pick a nice font, and then just use that because you're going to be staring at this for quite a while. So might as well make it look nice. And the way you do that is you go right here to the 3 little bullets and then click on settings. And then you scroll down to appearance. You can choose from a bunch of different themes. You could choose from a bunch of different fonts, and you can even change the link style and the emojis. I like the Noto emojis. They just seem to go a lot better with these monochrome themes. That's just what I went with. So that's how I would set up the account. Now, what features would I actually recommend you learn to use if you are new to Workflowy or you haven't used Workflowy in a while? Well, first off are the keyboard shortcuts, and there are a ton of them. And by the way, I am going to link to where you can find the documentation for all the shortcuts and all these other things that I'm explaining. I'm trying not to make the video too long, so I will link to where you can learn more about each one of these things if you're interested. So in terms of keyboard shortcuts, like I said, there's a ton of them. So the first shortcut I recommend you learn, if you haven't already, if this is your first time using Workflowy, is how to indent and outdent items. So you put your cursor on an item, hit tab to indent. That's how you create structure inside of Workflowy. To outdent, it's just shift tab and it moves it out one level. So pretty basic, but you need to know how to do that. Next, I would learn to zoom in and zoom out. And we do that with Command period or Command comma. And that's on Mac. So on screen, I will put what the Windows equivalent for that is. So like I said, to zoom in, it's Command period. Now we're in this item. And if we go Command comma, we zoom out. We keep zooming out and we can zoom in. Simple as that. So pretty basic, but really useful once you start to add a bunch of other keyboard shortcuts. Next up, I recommend you learn Control Shift. So now you can move that item and anything that's indented under it as one single unit up and down a list on the same level. And you can also use this keyboard shortcut to indent and outdent items. So again, if you hold Shift Control and then right arrow key, now we're indenting, left arrow key, now we're outdenting. So you can pretty much just move items around and indent them any way you want by just using that keyboard shortcut of Shift Control. I'll go ahead and get rid of this item with Command Shift Delete. It's also worth knowing how to select a bunch of items. So you just hold Shift from the item you're starting on, use your arrow keys, and then hit Tab so you can indent a bunch of items, outdent a bunch of items. And now if you combine it with the Control Shift keyboard shortcut, you can move them around just like that. So pretty simple, but very useful keyboard shortcuts once you combine them. Let me go ahead and indent these items. And lastly, you can collapse or expand items. So for example, this keyboard shortcuts now has all these items under it. If I put my cursor on that and hold Command and hit the up arrow key, it collapses everything. I do that in reverse. Command down arrow key, it expands everything. So combined with just those 3 or 4 keyboard shortcuts, you can do a lot without having to touch your mouse at all. And even though there are far more keyboard shortcuts, I think those are the main ones that are going to get you 80% or 90% of the way there. Next up, we have custom shortcuts. So this is a recent addition to Workflowy, and I've just been really enjoying this feature. The way it works is you can choose any item in your account and give it a custom shortcut. So the way I use it is, if I zoom out for a moment and collapse everything, I've got my inbox here. Now, sometimes I'll be in another part of my account and I want to just send things to the inbox, or I want to pull things from the inbox. Basically, I want to be able to target this item right here and the stuff inside of it. So the way that I can do that much more easily is by giving it a special shortcut. So I don't have to type the full name every time I want to find it, just a lot faster. So the way we do that is we put our cursor on any item and we use the / command to give it the shortcut. / commands are another feature I recommend you use. So I just go / shortcut, I hit enter. It's already got one because this is my account. But what you do here is you write whatever you want, and this is now the custom shortcut for this item. So I just used IN for inbox. You can use just even one letter if that makes sense for you. So once you have your shortcuts set up, you can use them anywhere that you've got a search box in Workflowy. So you can do things like, I'm just going to create an item here, test item. Let's say this is somewhere else in my account. I can now, again, invoke the / command, move, and then in. And now it's the first item that shows up, and we can see by this little lightning bolt emoji that it has a shortcut and it's in. So that's the first one that's going to show up. It's the first match, regardless of what the actual name of the item is. And if I hit enter, now I've moved that item to the inbox and I can see here it is. Some other shortcuts I like to set up are the ones that take me to my main task list, my now section. Also, I've got another one for activity, which just shows me where I just was with the now section, but also all the days and the log and where I dump all the stuff that I don't need. So that just makes moving around Workflowy really, really easy. You don't have to remember the actual name of the item. You can give it whatever name you want. You can have a bunch of things in the account with the same name. As long as they've got different shortcuts, you can easily target them, and it's just way more convenient. So going back to what features to learn or use, those are custom shortcuts. Next up are custom searches. Because Workflowy is one giant outline and everything is available from the search bar, that means it also has a ton of different ways to slice and dice all this information based on dates, when something was created, if it has a date tag, if it has a specific format like a color, or if it's a link or an image. You can pretty much use any combination of those to create a custom search. So depending on what you're doing in Workflowy, let's say you're managing your tasks or your projects, you can combine things like is a to do, and then also has a date tag that falls within this week or last week or is incomplete. So you can combine them pretty much any way you want and then save them. So that's what the custom part is. So after you've created that super useful search, you can then save it. I'm going to create a very simple one here. It's not actually going to be very advanced. I just want to show off the feature. So here I'm just searching for searches, and we've got this little lightning bolt icon, the same one we saw for shortcuts, and that's exactly what it does. You can give these custom searches custom shortcuts. And so in the same way that I type I to go to my inbox or NO to go to the now section, I can give this shortcut a name, and anytime I use it, it's going to go to the place in my account where I saved this shortcut and perform that same search. So even though the information is changing week by week or day by day, I'll be able to see the latest results because it's performing that search each time. So I don't currently use them anymore. I used to use them a lot more in the past when I had a very different way of organizing my tasks, but I did want to point it out because when I was using it, it was super useful to not have to remember all those custom searches I had. Next up is something I've been using throughout the video, and I forgot to mention, just because it becomes so natural to use, and that's the jump to menu. So on Mac, it's Command+K. I believe it's Control+K on Windows. What it does is it brings up this little widget. It looks a bit weird because my screen is a bit small for the recording. It should fit, like somewhere in the middle when you're actually using it. What it does is it lets you search your entire account and also go to that location. So for example, if I type inbox, it's going to find the inbox. I hit enter and it opens up the inbox. Actually, this is a different inbox. So as you can see, we're in under areas, another part of my account. And then let's see what we've got here. Okay, just some random thing I had in there from a previous demo or whatever. And so if I want to target the inbox, the one that's at the top of my account, I would do that. And now we're in the right inbox. So yeah, just showing how useful those shortcuts are. But getting back to the jump to menu, essentially it lets you navigate and jump around your account very quickly, just like that. Super fast. So I find that just much nicer than having to zoom all the way out of the account and then expand things, look for things. If there are areas in your notes that you're using over and over, so just give it a custom shortcut and it'll be so much easier to move back and forth from those various useful sections in your notes. So that's custom searches and the jump to menu. And the last one I recommend is the / command. I already kind of showed that off. The way it works is you put your cursor on the very end of a line, hit / and you get presented with a ton of different options. You can pretty much do anything that you can do from the bullet menu, which is this thing right here in case you're not familiar. Every bullet point has this little 3 horizontal dots on the left. That's the bullet menu. Click on it, lets you do things like change the format of this item and all the items under it. You can complete it, do all kinds of commands on it, but I just find that menu kind of annoying, so I prefer to do / and then whatever the command is. This is how I would recommend you actually do things like move items or mirror them. It's just so much faster than going to the bullet menu and scrolling down to find the right option. And while Workflowy has many, many more features available, these 5, for me at least, make up the core of how I use the app. Being able to quickly target items, move things around, search for things, navigate across all my notes, and then perform actions very quickly. That honestly makes up 90% of the features I use every single day. So that's why I decided to include them here. And lastly, what integrations to add. So if you haven't already, I recommend you install the iOS or Android app, and you can access Workflowy, all your notes from your pocket, anywhere, anytime. So that's kind of a no-brainer. But what you get in addition to just having your notes in your pocket is Workflowy recently updated the app. So you now have like a quick share option on both iOS and Android from pretty much anywhere in the operating system. So after you've installed the app, you get an additional share to Workflowy option from pretty much anywhere in iOS and Android. And that just makes it a lot easier to not even have to open the app. You just find something while you're browsing on the web, you select it, hit share, send to Workflowy, and it's done. It ends up in your default inbox. If you haven't set one up, Workflowy is going to create one for you. You can then rename it and move it around, do whatever you want with it. But it's just very easy to have a place to dump stuff without having to think about where it goes or even open up the app. In addition, on iOS, you can actually use it with Siri. So you can say something like, hey Siri, in Workflowy, remind me to blah, blah, blah. And it'll actually put it in the inbox for you without you having to do anything else. So that's just another way to quickly capture notes without even having to touch your phone. So just by downloading the app, that's why I would recommend you install it, try it out if you haven't done so already. And lastly, if you use AI in any capacity for your personal or private work and you'd like to connect it to your notes, I recommend you try the MCP Server app. All of this, again, is going to be linked in the description, so I'm not going to show where it is because that might change. But what it does is it's like a little script that lives on your computer. Essentially, you just use it to set up your Workflowy API key, and I'll link to where you actually get that. Once you've set it up, what it lets you do is connect any AI that you have running on your machine to your notes. So some of the common options are things like Claude Cowork, Cherry Studio, Craft Agents, Cursor, Codex, Gemini's anti-gravity IDE, a bunch of other applications. Pretty much any AI app that lives on your computer that accepts MCP servers can use it and talk to your notes. The reason I mention it is because I use AI a lot throughout my day for both work and my personal projects. I'm taking a lot of notes, I'm doing research, I'm creating small projects, basically generating a bunch of stuff that needs to be put somewhere. So why not just connect it to my notes? Additionally, because it has access to my logs, it's able to keep me on track. Like I mentioned, since I keep a running log of all the activities that I've done, all the tasks that are incomplete, the AI is then able to basically go through my notes, find things that I've forgotten, kind of drop the ball on, remind me of them, and then we can decide what I want to do with that. And that just makes things a lot easier for me. And so this thing is actually connected to that AI section in my notes. So what it is actually the AI instructions. When I connect the MCP server to my notes, it's got the instructions for when starting conversations, what it's supposed to do, how it's supposed to check the inbox, surface items, help me decide if I want to work on something, archive it, delete it, who am I, where the important areas in my notes are. So each time I start a new conversation with AI, it's got all the important context based on my preferences, the structure of my notes, what the different workflows that we have that I do on a regular basis are, and how it's supposed to handle them. I've also given it some skills, and I've even given it memory. So kind of doing all the things that you do in more complex AI apps, just keeping it all inside of Workflowy because it's just an outline so I can quickly see what the AI memory is, what the skills are. I can edit them without having to use any fancy applications or the terminal. It's all just inside of Workflowy. So at any time I can change the instructions if I don't like something the AI is doing. It's very easy to update. So if you do use AI at all, definitely would recommend you check out the MCP server and then read the instructions on how to set this up. But it's all just outlines and instructions. So pretty simple to set up. So I hope that was at least a little bit useful. And that is it. That is how I would get started with Workflowy in 2026 if I had to start with a brand new account. Those are the features I'd use. These are the guidelines I would follow. I've tried all the features, set up all the different types of productivity systems that you can imagine. And this is kind of what I've settled on, and it's worked pretty well for me so far. So yeah, just wanted to share that with you, maybe give you some ideas. If it's the first time that you're using Workflowy, these are the features I would recommend you check out. I've gotten a lot of mileage out of them. I think you will very likely find them useful as well. Workflowy is honestly a very simple app. You don't need to overcomplicate things. If you've got a system that's working, don't make it more complicated than you need to. Once you've got something that's working for you, just stick with it. Maybe just find the little areas where you can improve it, but that's pretty much it. The links where you can learn more about the features and download the apps are going to be in the description. Be sure to like the video if you enjoyed it and subscribe if you haven't done so already and you want to see me make more of these videos about productivity, organization, and workflow in general. So until the next one, I'll see you then.